Hi, hi, hi. Merry Christmas, my friends. And today we are talking about national treasure, the edge of history. Finally, we're getting some national treasure. And but unfortunately, this time around, it hasn't got um, Nicolas Cage. Anyway, I'm here with my usual cohort, cousin Chito. How you doing, my friend?
Uh, just to correct you, as of the poll yesterday, I am cousin Cunty is what I am now. So
Fair enough, fair enough.
I probably not.
So,
Yeah, I was feeling weird yesterday.
so National Treasure back on our screens. New cast, new show. Some familiar faces, obviously. We got one of them in the opening episode. And I do believe the character of Riley will come back later on as well. But nevertheless, it's a brand new direction. No Cage. It has been too long, I guess, as well, because it's 18 years since the first movie, which is hard to believe,
Yeah. Well, I mean,
But
this show is kind of like what the Child Protective Services says about my kids. No cage, no cages.
okay, okay, good. That is a good joke. I'll just say that to make you happy.
Thank
All right,
you.
so no problem. Okay, so in this episode, we see this one particular guy, and he's a treasure hunter in the same vein as Nick Cage, and he's raiding this church, and he finds this mystery box. As soon as I saw this box, and we saw the prologue even to that, with about these three boxes, it kind of reminded me of two things: those boxes we saw in Justice League,
Mm-hmm. The mother boxes.
the mother boxes, and the skulls from the Phantom with Billy Zane back in the day.
Oh wow. Okay.
Because there's three of them, but nevertheless, the Aztecs, the Incans, the Mayans, they were the dominant people of the Americas. They came from that part of the world, and with the Westerners coming in and slaughtering them all, and taking over their lands, they ended up having to do put a lot of things into hiding. And in this show, we kind of basically looking for a treasure, so to speak. Don't know what that treasure may be. I hope it's not the treasure is knowledge or some bullshit like that. But
The
but we are
treasure
looking.
was inside of you all along.
Yes, so like, but there is a treasure. But what we find out in this initial prologue is that this guy, this treasure hunter, his wife and his child are also in danger from these bad guys from a guy called Salazar. And we don't see Salazar to the end of the second episode, and even then we don't really see him. But but nevertheless, we all of this is happening at the beginning of the century, 2001 or something like
Mm-hmm.
that. And we then, after this guy, this treasure hunter, we believe he dies in a fire and all of that, stopping these bandits. We then cut to 2021, and we see his daughter, as a young lady, working at a what do you call it, a self storage, a storage facility place and stuff like that. Has some friends, but initially we see her in an escape room. And it kind of gives us an idea what she's about. That she's very witty. She's a quick thinker. She's able to elaborate things. She's got the sort of Assassin's Creed vision. You know, where she's able to see things in the walls and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, they do this a lot, and I mean, sure, they do it with Sherlock Holmes a lot. You know, the analytical thinking, but they visualize it. So, I was okay with that. I don't ever that never really bothers me about like people that are supposed to be super sleuths, and like figuring things out. But
So is it Pope without the God Nicolas Cage? Let me tell you this. It's pretty hard to tell at this moment in time because unfortunately there are most shows, it's very hard to grab you at the beginning. There's only a couple of shows that I've watched this year that grabs me from the very beginning. Now, I don't really want to necessarily put some of the MCU television shows because they're part of an overall universe. So in a way, they're kind of continuing a lineage that's already been created. But something, for instance, like House of the Dragon, that kind of grabbed me from the beginning. The Tulsa King, that grabbed me from the beginning. But other shows, you need to watch an episode or two before it really hooks you in, you know? So I'm giving this the benefit of the doubt, but I'll tell you this, Derpy, I'm not necessarily impressed at this moment in time, you know? Like, I do feel that Disney Plus has become the new CW. I don't know how you feel about that, Cousin Chito.
I mean, I wouldn't go as far to call it the CW. I mean, they have put some really
See,
good quality content together. I mean, Moon Knight was great, Loki was great, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Like all of these are movie level production things. Even with Star Wars, Mandalorian had some great episodes, but there is more on the CW area where it's like, yeah, you have these national treasures and these willows that are not exactly getting as much love as the Star Wars and Marvel stuff. So I do understand I do understand them being like, look, this product needs to prove that it is going to be profitable before we put a ton into it. So like Willow and National Treasure, I honestly don't mind the fact that they're using Disney Plus as a place to be like, look, we got to see if National Treasure still has interest, if Willow still has interest. We're going to give it an honest go. And honestly, if it doesn't, then they scrap it. Like, and we got a season of Willow, we got a season of National Treasure. But you're right. I feel like that the National Treasure one so far in the first two episodes has felt very, very like more CW than anything we've seen before than I've seen before. I haven't watched everything on Disney Plus, but I've watched all the Marvel, Star Wars, and then obviously we're watching Willow currently. So this really does feel like the most CW of all the shows we have watched and reviewed from Disney Plus.
okay, is it faithful or nostalgic? Now, see, I have to say, look, regarding me personally with the National Treasure movies, like, I don't think they've ever been that great in the first place, my personal opinion.
Well, and
Yeah.
actually, one thing I want to bring up is that why does, and I know it's national, so of course everybody affiliates it with the United States. Why does it have to be the United States? Why can't it be another country? You know what I mean? Like, why can't it
Well,
be like
they no, but
Nathan
they
Drake?
do like no, but they like. I mean, it is supposed, like it's a bit of pandering and stuff like that. And the second movie, they did do a bit of hopping. They went to United Kingdom. They went to France. In the second movie and stuff like that because it was all connected and all of that. But your land prior to the colonization of the European people, it had its own people in its land, its own natives. The Incas, the Mayas, the Aztecs, they had them all. They were there. And there is a history there on in that land. Which dates back centuries, thousands of years even. So you got to look at it from that perspective as well.
Okay.
So
I kind of wish we had, and I get it that this group of kids can't be globetrotting like Nick Cage's group was, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, I kind of didn't want it to be limited to United States. Like honestly, if we would have started in a different country, I'd have been happy.
well,
Um,
I think unfortunately they've kind of put themselves in a rut because by calling themselves national treasure and all of that shit, you know, um, they've kind of made it like it has to be everything America at the end of the day.
hmm,
This
okay.
is what they've done. One Division was great, yes, it was. Um, so you're telling me it's Batwoman level? No, 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 no. Batwoman's its own level. I think maybe Willow might be Batwoman level. To tell you the truth, but it's hard to tell at the moment. Like,
Wow.
I'll tell you
Damn.
this. Like, this is a kid show to a degree. I'm feeling that. It's got young people involved. There were like children's shows I watched as a young man. Or when I was not that when I was younger, if anything. where you had like a bunch of teens and or early 20 something running away from criminals and trying to get to the so and so the MacGuffin first or whatever it may be. You know, uh, Boba Fett level, yeah, yeah, yeah. I would say that. Yeah, that's a good yeah, yeah. But unfortunately, the way they're doing things now, like if you watch like the movie like The Goonies, The Goonies is a superb example of giving you almost adult like entertainment, but with children as the stars. You know, it felt
Hmm.
very kiddie, but I could go back and watch The Goonies today and still like it as an adult because some of the jokes are very dark. As I said before, you have the kid Chunk stuck in a refrigerator with a dead body, and not only somebody who's been murdered by gangsters, and they're playing it for laughs. You know, you
Yeah,
just
I
don't
mean it.
you will not get that today in
No,
today's movies with young
not at
and these were kids. They're not even in their 20s like they are in this fucking series. You know, so it's just like the levels have changed now. You know, like in my opinion, like the kid shows of the 80s, they were a lot darker and very enjoyable. Your Never Ending Story, your Dark
hated that
Crystal,
movie, by the way.
Never is world class. You know, but for me personally, but
One
you
of the
know, there's
worst, in my opinion.
you know, there's so many. Let me just say, all I'm saying is coming. You know, they'll reboot that film. Which film is that? There's so many bloody films I just mentioned right now, but you remind me which one it is. You know. Anyway, so as I said earlier, we're following this young girl now. Her name is Jessica, I believe. Is that correct? Yes, it's Jess.
I don't even remember.
Now, a lot of these actors, I have to say, they look like, oh, the Goonies, they're going to reboot that. Oh, I heard they're going to make a sequel to that, you
I mean,
know.
yeah, I heard that they were either rebooting or whatever the Goonies. I was like, "Oh god." Like I'm not a
So
huge Goonies fan either, but still like come on. Like they're really stretching it on that. You know what I mean? Like
if they rebooted, it will be so shit. I can already tell you because it will not have the magic that the first film had. I'd rather they go for a sequel where we got all of these guys now in their late 40s, early 50s,
mhm.
you know, something like that. That would be a lot better, you know. Hold on. So anyway, so we follow this girl Jess. I've hardly even begun talking about this episode, but
I mean,
what I
there's not a ton to say,
no,
honestly.
I'll tell you what pisses me off about this episode, like, was the coincidentalness of it all. Like, she has this her father's medallion. She happens to work in a storage warehouse. She happens to find a storage facility that that would take her fancy because it's full of historical artifacts. And because of that, she's able to decipher who owns this facility and visits Harvey Keitel, who is the guy from the first movie, and he's a
Mhm.
Freemason and stuff like that. And she just happens to have like the keys and the information that coincides with a treasure that he's been trying to find his entire life. It's like, well, that's so coincidental, you know.
Oh yeah, I mean, this is coincidence the TV show at this point. I mean, yeah, it
Yeah.
does it all seems to like fall into place so very perfectly and honestly, it's kind of, as I said, it's a bit
No,
I don't know.
I disagree. This is talking about the Goonies here. Honestly, I'm okay with a reboot if it's a series, but they have to do it right. Choose the right kids. It's gonna be shit, man. I mean, I can already see it. They've done the same with Willow already. We've seen what they've done with Willow. You know, it's just, it's just not worth it. Sometimes you just need to leave it and
Oh
let
yeah.
it be.
They but that's what they do. They just take all this and they just butcher our childhoods at this point.
Oh yes, yes, for sure.
As I said, I mean, I wasn't a huge fan of the Goonies, but I don't think it like I think it was what it was. I didn't say it was terrible. I just didn't like it. There's a very big difference between, because you know me, I'm a milk toast viewer, a milk toast gamer. If it doesn't hit with me, it doesn't hit with me. That doesn't say anything about the movie. That just says more about my taste. So I mean, like but no, like stuff like that, just got to leave alone. You can't keep reinventing the wheel and just you know beating that dead horse.
Fair enough. So because of like I said before, Jessica, the coincidental girl, she's able to meet Harvey Keitel. She gets some clues and she gets this letter and stuff like that. She's reluctant to open it. Has these fake FBI guys searching her because Catherine Zeta-Jones is scanning that house.
Oh my
She's been
god,
looking for,
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
yeah, yeah. She's playing the baddie in this as well.
I mean, she cannot
And
be that desperate for money. She can't be that desperate for money.
I think sometimes it's not necessarily the money. It's more the fact that, hey, look, I'm still alive. You know,
Right?
I'm still here. Yeah. So
Yeah, I
yeah, it's
mean, you're
going to
not
be.
wrong about that one. Like
It's,
and I guess getting your foot in the door with Disney, which has Catherine Zeta-Jones done anything recently with Disney? Like, I don't,
no, she played Morticia Adams in Wednesday
which is
in
Netflix, but
Netflix, but still, I mean, it's just about keeping herself on the spotlight. And
yeah.
she looks amazing, by the way, in that
Oh
that
yeah.
tight dress. She looks absolutely amazing.
Oh
She's
yeah.
52, man. Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's going to be left alone, but if they did a reboot, they'll have to treat it like Top Gun Maverick. Well, Top Gun Maverick was technically a sequel. It is a sequel, not even technically. Or any film that deals with nostalgia. Like I said, they need to do a sequel. Just leave the original alone so it doesn't get tarnished. Do a sequel. I'd rather you do that. So, there's no need to go back to the well. And don't do the one where you got the actors' kids, doing a, like the old now and their kids decide to go for a fucking adventure or some shit. Oh God, I'll smack my head against the table, man. But yeah, left alone. Thank you very much. So she meets. By the way, I have to say that there's three particular actors in this show that look like younger versions of actual actors. Maybe down the line, maybe we'll find out. Maybe there's more. But first of all, we have Jess, who looks like a very young Jennifer Lopez. Would you say?
Yeah. Yeah. I can see
And
it.
then we have Liam, the guitar player. She's got the hots for. Or they got the hots for each other for sure. They're both beautiful people. He's Chris Evans. He looks like Chris Evans.
So what you're
My
saying,
opinion.
in 5 to 10 years, he's going to be Steve Rogers, Captain America, is what you're saying.
If they reboot the MCU,
Oh, or
maybe.
he could be the Human Torch. He could be Johnny Storm in the
Oh yeah,
MCU.
I would like that. I think he'll make a good Johnny Storm.
I think he could.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think he could.
yeah.
And he's got the red hair, so it's like, you know,
And we have
the
that
drapes match the superpower.
the FBI agent, the young lady, and she kind of reminds me of Linda Carter, the original Wonder Woman, a little
Hmm.
bit, you know. And one of their male friends, the one who gets kidnapped by Catherine Zeta-Jones, he's a bit of a Ralph Macchio, Karate Kid, a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, so but anyway, trying to remember some of this episode because I didn't take any notes down on this particular occasion, but they do get chased around by the FBI, Jesse and her friend, the TikToker, Tasha.
The TikToker.
Yeah, and they go. One of the clues they get the clue, don't they, from Harvey Keitel, who's only in the first episode, and he does die. He's suffering from dementia and stuff like that, and so he hasn't got long to live. And I like the way he said to Jess, "If I die, the secret dies with me," and he believes in Jess,
Hmm.
because she kind of, and so he puts it upon her to look for this treasure and all of that, and I like that. And then she gets this picture, and immediately, I knew this picture was a fucking clue. Did you?
Yeah, of course it is.
You got three people standing on fucking like a chessboard, looking like chess pieces, like, standing in angles and holding things and all that. Like it's a fucking clue, man. It's like yeah, but now she's on the. "Huh, I wonder what this is. I wonder what this is. I wonder what this is. But eventually she figures it out and she goes into the Freemason, does the old the old handshake,
Yeah,
the Vulcan salute handshake, and she gets in,
the
figures
vagina
it out.
salute handshake.
Yeah, yeah, opens up the globe and boom, there's one of the mother boxes, you know, and then she's able to, she's like when she's opening up, the sun comes out and then the sun like jumps on the rabbit and the rabbit is a bit thirsty, looks for the water, and then the rabbit wants to go in the
Yeah,
shade and
that part I
what
was
the
kind of
hell?
like, yeah, I was kind of like, wait a minute, what are we doing? Like this is you're really really stretching on this one, but see, that's the thing though, is that she's so the thing about Nick Cage's character is that he was a historian. He knew his history, and that's how he was able to solve the mysteries. She's just a really good problem solver, which is fine. But you need to have a really good historian for national. I feel like that's that's like Indiana Jones. Like Indiana Jones, you gotta have a good historian in Indiana Jones, no matter what. Yep, I see him
he's,
there.
he- he's an archaeologist, but yes,
You
I
know,
know what you
you
mean.
Xanta, you really need to stop stealing Zam's clothes. I'm sorry. Like that is not very Christmassy of you to steal his
I
clothes.
told that motherfucker once I got here, and he's still in the basement now, that I would take his clothes, his boots, and his motorcycle. I took it all. You know what I mean?
Motorcycle. Holy crap, Zam's been holding out. I didn't know he had a motorcycle. Shit.
Well, I just like saying it because because it comes from Terminator 2. But yes, I think he's got more like a bicycle. If that.
Oh, okay. So he
Yeah.
doesn't actually have an electric car, he has a bicycle.
Yes. Yes. I drive his electric car too. I'm gonna be
Ah.
using it for like taking my presents around. Bakazam, he's been living in his house for 11 months. It's about time I take advantage of it. But
Okay.
anyway, back to the back to the show. So like one of their friends has been kidnapped, the Ralph Macchio
You didn't
guy.
say it right. One of their friends. Come on.
Oh yes, one of their friends
Nice reverb.
gets gets kidnapped, and he's a bit oblivious because he's a fucking idiot. And she also has a sort of like a friendship thing with this other dude. Jessica does.
Yeah. I mean,
Like he,
it seems like
they're
they're trying to do the whole
friends.
will they won't they thing. And I hate that sometimes.
But
Like,
it's strange because she's obviously attracted to the singer as well. So it can be like a love triangle while they hunt for treasure.
oh boy. Yeah, I
Yeah.
no,
So anyway,
yeah.
so she's able to open the box. You know, they very cleverly they take pictures of the insides because they believe the insides is some sort of map and all of that,
But
and then
pieces
they
are
give them.
missing, and remember there were 3 mother boxes.
Oh
So,
yes, so they probably need the box again, maybe,
they need the
maybe.
other 2 boxes to make a full map. But
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And they do a negotiation at this museum because there's people there and stuff like that. And I can't remember after Catherine Zeta-Jones goes, she's in her plane. She's in the evil plane and she's scanning the box and stuff like that. Realize that they've opened it, but also she realizes there's more to this girl than meets the eye, and so she wants to do a history check on the girl now. She'll probably realize it was the guy. She's the daughter of the guy who stole her. Who stole the artifact in at the beginning of the episode. Also, Jessica is not an American citizen. She's an illegal alien, so that's going to be hovering over her head as well. Her boss is your typical neckbeard, the guy who worked there. It's amazing. Like she's been working there for 2 years in that warehouse. Somebody else fucks up, and she cops the blame and gets fired. And then you wonder why you can't get any fucking help these days. I
well,
mean,
yeah.
so ridiculous, but very unlikable character. He played his role very well. But in the second episode, obviously with Jessica trying to decipher all the clues and all of that, and and put things together. We also find out more about Liam as well. He's a singer who sings at a bar. That he's a very good singer, but nobody listens to his fucking music. You know what I mean? The only person who listens to it is goddamn Jessica. So, and she when she loses a job, she works at the bar and stuff like that. And with
I kind of wish he did suck at singing. Like maybe not suck, but like they kind of make him sound like he's really good at singing. It's like, that's not how people would react. If he's actually good, then
yeah,
if he's actually good, then they would people would acknowledge that. It wouldn't just be an empty bar, people not listening. Like they need to make him sound less than average of a singer, and then we can be like, okay, yeah, he does kind of stink. So
well, he he's not getting any attention for his music, and so the owner decides to turn his place into a karaoke bar. Jessica's quit wit as somebody who's a problem solver gets her the job as as a waitress. And she gets to know
mhm,
Liam a little bit better. Liam himself, with his grandfather dies, he inherits his grandfather's house, and that house is a very nice house. It's like a stereotypical American Civil War type looking house,
mhm.
from that sort of era.
Oh,
But
old colonial age house.
oh yes, for sure. And obviously, at, at the end of this episode, she decides to break in. She doesn't physically break in, but the door's open. But she doesn't give a fuck. She's going in anyway, and she starts snooping around. And it just so happens that this one book drops, and it opens up the page,
I
and
know, it was
boom,
so coincident. I'm like, "Oh, for the love of God."
more coincidence. More coincidence. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it really, really is.
And finally, Chris Evans and Jennifer Lopez, they meet each other. She's gonna fight him with an umbrella because, anyway, regardless. And then they try to decipher the clues and stuff like that. And he knows about this hidden room, behind the bookshelf. And they go in there, and she finds a newspaper of her mom. Her mom has written some sort of article, and then cliffhanger, episode ends. It's like this woman, she just coincidentally found a fucking self
Random ass
storage
book
unit.
and a random ass page, and
Yeah, but the self storage unit was the beginning. She never worked in that self storage unit. She would never, it just so happens to be that one. None of this would have come together,
mhm.
And, it's crazy. But yeah, it's the coincidence is one thing, but now what they're gonna do? Are they gonna look for the other two mother boxes and all of that? I'm sure they are, but there's a treasure as well, and I'm sure someone has to die at some point, maybe. You
Well,
know,
maybe. I mean, yeah. I
when I say die, I mean killed, because Harvey Keitel's character did die, even though we never saw it.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and I'm sure there was some nefariousness behind the death. Like I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's you're right. It's coincidence. The TV show. Like I don't know.
so I think it's about time we break this shit and move on, because it's been a long day for both of us. It really has. Like we've done a lot of streaming and doing shows and shit like that. I think I've had enough. So, Chito, what you gonna rate this up? At least just do a combination,
Yeah.
not one or the other. Combo, double bill episode. What you gonna rate it, my son?
I'm gonna give it a 4. It was definitely below average. It wasn't ass bad, but it was definitely not good. So I'm gonna give it a 4.
See, I want to give it a good mark, but I can't. I genuinely can't. But there's an optimistic side of me that thinks that this will get better now. Maybe when they start throwing some of the familiar characters in there, and we already had one and it didn't help. But maybe when we get another in Riley,
I'd say Riley's
maybe,
coming. I know that. I saw him on the cast
yeah.
list.
So maybe that will make things a bit better. But I have to go. I am going to continue watching this. Don't get me wrong, but I have to agree with you, Tito. I think I'm also going to give it a 4. I was going to give it a 6, but I was thinking to myself, I think I'm just being overly optimistic for the sake of it. It's a 4. It's not that good of a show at this moment in time. There is chance to improve for sure. But all these elements are going to come into play. Like the FBI lady, she's going to play a more prominent role. We saw the Salazar character at the end of the episode as well, scribbling down like a madman. Now he is the bad guy, like he's like the big bad guy. I think maybe Catherine Zeta-Jones works for him. Maybe
Maybe.
because she was talking on the phone earlier. Maybe she was talking to him. I know he's in prison and stuff like that, but phones, they do get passed around in prison.
Mhm.
So the Salazar, he's like the scary big bad guy. So maybe we'll see what happens in the future. But yeah, 4 out of 10 for both of us. Not the greatest of start, and I'm getting a bit worried now about the content coming from Disney Plus. Like, I know you're fucking Disney, but still, put a bit of grit and you know, just a bit of just that something that just if you want to make something solely for kids, make it for kids. But if you're gonna make it for a family audience, then take a leaf out of Spielberg's book when it came to those sort of family entertainment shows of the 80s and 90s, where they they ticked many boxes like Jurassic Park. You know,
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I
like
mean, kids love that movie, but it also doesn't.
it's scary as fuck as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to push the boundaries. You can't be bubblegum all the fucking time. Like some of the humor, like the scene with the FBI. Like one minute they're gonna tell the FBI everything, and then they tell that they did nothing. Like your friend's going to get killed for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
You've been taken kidnapped. Either you go all the way, even though it could mean you're being deported, or you should never have gone there in the first place. Like one minute they're giving all the information, then they're fucking lying. What the hell,
Yeah. I mean,
like
it's as I said, I mean that part made me cringe as well because she's what's the TikTok girl? I don't remember her name, but like
Tasha.
yeah, so then she starts kind of playing these word games and all that other stuff, and I'm like, what are we doing? Like, what's your, and then they're lying about their names and everything, and just
Yeah,
it was
I'm Jen Lopez. Like, what the
yeah.
hell? So fucking stupid. Yeah. It's- Sometimes sometimes the way humor is done, it's done so poorly. Like it's like this is bullshit humor. This is not
Hmm.
good humor. This is not clever humor. This is stupid humor. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
You
No, I,
know,
I I 100% agree. It
I
like
hate I hate humor like this. I really do.
even my milk toast bullshit can't deal with it.
Yeah, exactly. So like they need to up the game when it comes to the jokes and the laughs and I think I like a bit of wit. Not all of this sort of stuff. This is like the sort of shitty humor you get on crappy American sitcoms. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I just anyway. You got our reviews in, so our scores in. So both of us 4 out of 10. So yeah, that's what we thought of episode 1 and 2 of National Treasure. Now we will be back to review it again next week. So rest assured, we're not dropping this like a hot potato. But I wish we could. Same with Willow as well. Fuck me, that show is shit. But we're gonna review it anyway. So.
I'm not hating Willow as much as you guys are, but I don't have the nostalgia. Remember, I watched Willow for the first time, just a couple weeks ago. So I don't have the nostalgia for it, but I don't think Willow's as bad as people are making it out to be. I don't think it's great. Don't get me wrong. I don't think it's even great or good or anything like that. There are definitely some issues there, but I don't know if it's as bad as everyone's making it sound like. So, but it's okay.
Okay, well, I just think the production and the fighting choreography and some of the acting is just it's not good. Like Daniel Vance said it very well last week, last episode. there's a lack of grit, real grit. You know what I mean? You know, so anyways,
Anyways.
we have a Patreon here at NerdTube. Please check out our Patreon. We want people to ask us what sort of films and television shows that you would like to watch. Cousin Tito's been missing out a lot in his life, and it's about time we get him on board in some of the bigger, more popular franchises like John Wick. I know, can you believe it? He hasn't seen that. I've been begging him to see that. But nevertheless, we will make him watch it if you join our Patreon, as well as maybe some other stuff like episodes from the original series of Star Trek. So please check that out, as well as at the end of the year, 30th of December, we're going to be doing the
29th.
Golden Ashes. Sorry, no, 30th, no?
29th.
29th?
Thursday the 29th, yes.
Okay, Thursday the 29th of
We originally
December.
said the 30th, but we had to change it due to scheduling conflicts.
Okay, 29th of December, we're doing the Golden Ashes Award, and that's an award ceremony. Basically, if you check out our website, you can see all the shows and people and everything that's up for nomination for various things. So check that out as well.
Also,
So
check out the community tab on YouTube. We have all of our People's Choice Awards up there. Today's poll was best ginger reaction. So Ginger Greek has had many reactions this past year to many things, and if there are two people on this channel who do excellent reactions to things, it would be Zam or Xanta and Ginger Greek. So sorry, I just lump you, Xanta. I just lump you and Zam
I
together
think I think you do
because you
good
guys look the
reactions
same.
too.
You know.
Yeah, I think you do good reactions too. You shouldn't underestimate yourself, my
Well,
friend. Hello, Jimmy, Jimmy, Jim. Yes, hello, Jimmy, Jim. Yes, hello. So yeah, and you catch me, I think Monday for the next review, which will be for the Tulsa King. Now, for me, that is the one show I look forward to every week. I love it. I love it so much, and it's been renewed for season two. I can't wait for that already, and I'm still only halfway through season one. So okay. So thank you very much, cousin Chito,
no problem.
and thank you very much to everyone out there in YouTube land. We'll hope to see you as well as Twitch. We hope to see you again soon. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe to NerdTube, the greatest YouTube channel you never heard of. And I'd like to wish you all a very